Hello, welcome to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton. Movie reviews, movie reviews, movie reviews. We got 3 movies today. I know I'd been on a hot streak of getting about 5 in on the last couple shows. Not as I got caught up on my streamers is really the bottom line of it. So yeah, like two theatrical releases and a streamer. Let's get to it. Our first movie this evening, Bugonia, Yargos Lanthimos. So Yargos Lanthimos is the director. Most recently, Kinds of Kindness, but super famously for Poor Things, for which it had like a bazillion Oscar nominations. Was one of my favorite films of 2023, and then and before that, The Lobster, The Favorite, Dogtooth, just a whole lot of weird stuff. And the thing about Yorgos Lanthimos films is that he puts you in an environment that feels very not real. Okay. There's always veneer of fiction. Okay, it purposefully feels not quite real, whereas this is a movie that from Jump Street this is going on right now. This absolutely is going on. And so it stars Emma Stone as a CEO of a nondescript conglomerate corporation that is parts Amazon, parts like pharmaceutical. Who knows? But it's a huge corporation, and she is a CEO. And Jesse Plemons plays a conspiracy theorist, a guy who is clearly plotting something, because we get to see him speaking with his cousin, Don, played by Aidan Delbus, in his first theatrical role, a young man with autism, and just really fantastic. And it's just like pluck him out of, do a search for folks on the spectrum and pluck him out and just be like, yeah, you're our guy. And he's so good. Just the conspiracy theory that Jesse Plemons has latched onto is that there is an alien race, Andromedans, that are controlling what's going on in on the Earth, and are to the detriment of humans. And he needs to expose and get contact with the Andromedans to prevent them from from continuing to basically keep the human race in bondage and enslaved. And so his theory is that Emma Stone is one of the Andromedans, and she must be kidnapped, and on the full moon, which is happening in 3 days, she will agree to take him to her spaceship, and so that he can meet with the Emperor. And because it's a Yargos Lanthimos movie, in the back of your head, you're like, okay, is Emma Stone alien? Because that's definitely something that could be going on here. And also because because of the real reality, the way this movie feels so very, very real. Just, the characters just feel real, because of the reality of it. there's just no way that Emma Stone is an alien, and this is just an absolute crackpot, just an absolute crackpot who has, read the wrong things and buys into it. And just Jesse Plemons is so good in this. It's so ridiculous how good he is, and how he and Emma Stone play off of each other, and how he as an actor buys into the conspiracy, and is 100% determined that this conspiracy is going to be exposed, and that he is going to get onto this spaceship. And Emma Stone is just a person stuck dealing with somebody who's communicating an insanity. And through the first 2 acts, it's just the wonderful thing. This movie is an absolute ride, because you hate Emma Stone because she really is just a terrible corporate-y, soul-sucking CEO, and you hate Jesse Plemons because everything he says is just absolutely bonkers, and he's dragging his poor cousin with him. But you're 100% invested in the story that's being told, and through the first 2 acts, it's literally just, what is this? What is going to happen here? And then you get to the end, and you get to the 3rd act, and where we need to find out, ultimately we need to find out exactly what's going on. Side note, Jesse Plemons' mom was had become addicted to opioids that were sold by Emma Stone's company, and is held up in a basically a nursing home, where she's just out of commission. And Emma Stone's company, in an attempt to try to reverse the situation, is the drugs to reverse her addiction just weren't working. And so it just adds layer upon layer upon layer of what is lie, what is truth, and what is really going on here. And the ending of this movie is perfect. That it's the best ending for a movie ever. Like Casablanca, sorry, just Empire Strikes Back, fantastic ending. Sorry. Just think of a movie with just an unbelievable final 15 minutes, and the final 15 minutes of this movie are just blow it away. Just absolutely blow it away. But it's imperative that you buy in, and just do not assume anything, and just buy in, because that is how you get to where you need to go with this movie. And it is so here at Real Talk, we do tacos instead of stars, and if we feel like something deserves a little extra, rather than giving a half a taco like you would a half a star, we add guac. Why? Because nobody eats half a fucking taco. This is a 5 tacos plus guac. I mean, so last month we did I did the Paul Thomas Anderson new release, One Battle After Another. Probably still my favorite movie, definitely still the best movie of the year. This might bump up into my favorite, though. This is the 2 slot. Sorry, Life of Chuck. Sorry, Sinners. You guys are now, 2 or 3 and 4 with Bugonia and one battle after another, taking up the top 2 spots. The next film I saw was actually released last week, but I'm at a point where right now in the world of me where I can really only get to 2 movies a week. It seems like it's NFL season, and because of that, I had to pick 2 movies, and uh, I picked Shelby Oaks, as my sort of not major new release, rather than Blue Moon, which was also a not major new release last week. Still playing this week. There was only one. Bugonia was really the only movie released this past week that I was interested in. I really wanted to see Blue Moon, so here I am. Blue Moon comes from Richard Linklater. Last year, Richard Linklater did or 2 years ago, I'm sorry, did the streaming release Hitman with Glenn Powell, which is fantastic. And Tilda Swinton is going to pop up later, not in this movie though. But he's most famous for having done the Before trilogy, so Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight, which are just 3 fantastic movies. And here we are again with Blue Moon, which is a movie starring Ethan Hawke as plays Lauren's Hart, who was a lyricist and the first partner of Richard Rogers, who is played by Andrew Scott. Richard Rogers is the Rogers half of Rogers and Hammerstein. Oklahoma, Sound of Music, just huge musical folks. But before it was Rogers and Hammerstein, it was Rogers and Hart. And Ethan Hawke plays the super alcoholic, super curmudgeon-y, super short Lorenz Hart. And the movie is a one-nighter. Everything takes place in one night. And it's the night that Oklahoma is being it's Oklahoma's opening night, which is the first thing that Rogers and Hammerstein did together, and the first thing Rogers did without Hart. And so it's really just about this barely functioning alcoholic trying to deal with the fact that his career partner has found somebody else who is up to the task of creating amazing musicals. And Margaret Qualley plays a young protege for Lorenz Hart. Lorenz Hart is like basically like an early pansexual, and people kind of know that he's into dudes, but he's always like, look, I'm not just into dudes. I'll whatever. It's basically just like, hey, here's a vehicle for Ethan Hawke to be a super mega personality for an hour and 40 minutes. And this works because it is written to make Hart be the writer, the intelligent lyricist, the intelligent writer that he was. And it's chock-a-block full of things that never happened, but when you see them happening on screen, make you go to Wikipedia and do Google searches and stuff saying, did Lorenz and Hart do X, Y, and Z? No, Lorenz and Hart didn't do that. But because it was, happening at the time, it's fun. So basically, it's a fictional movie happening on a real live during a real live event and portraying real live feelings and real live reactions to somebody's life clearly falling apart. In real life, Lorenz Hart passed away within a year of the release of Oklahoma, and they actually established that at the start of the movie. And it's just a really funny, biting, painful, fun, tragic ride. And this movie is just absolutely dripping in humanity and hope and regret. And so many characters are there interacting with heart, and every single character has, is grabbing a different part of heart and using him for a different reason, and he doesn't mind. And because this is how he relates to people, and that's what the movie's about. And it's a real person, so you kind of feel like, oh, well, fuck this movie for lying to me. But no, I don't mind that it lied to me. I don't mind that I did several Google searches that made me feel stupid afterwards, because the emotions are still real, uh, and the story is still fantastically told. Um, so Blue Moon is just the very, very definition of a four taco movie. Like, it's amazing tacos, perfect tacos, perfect. It's a little short on guac. The last movie I'm doing, it's Ballad of a Small Player, streaming now on Netflix. Like, Netflix is on an absolute tear, by the way. They're just having movie release after movie release after movie. Like, they have like the next 3 weeks just huge movies coming out, but that's all right. This one is from Edward Berger. Here in the United States, we know Edward Berger for the Netflix movie. What year was it? Hold on. It's 2022. The adaptation of All Quiet on the Western Front, which is just bonkers. And then last year's Conclave, which was just a fantastically riveting and entertaining movie. This one, Ballad of a Small Player, stars primarily Colin Farrell as a professional high stakes gambler, or so we are led to believe. But when Tilda Swinton shows up and exposes Lord Doyle, the Colin Farrell's character's name, as not a lord and not royal in any way, shape, or form, but just an Irish con man. We figure out that he's in deep water and he's in way over his head. So this is going to be a your mileage may vary movie. I love movies about gambling, so I was all in. As a child, the movie came out. I was 15 when a movie called Let It Ride came out, starring Richard Dreyfuss, as a small time racehorse gambler, who is on a cold streak, but then he has one day where he gets super, super hot. And that's the entire movie. I love that movie. Like, that was just a fantastic, gripping movie for me. Like, and just entertaining and fun and funny. This is kind of like that, but instead of mostly seeing the one good day, the first 2 acts are everything that lead, the bad days that precede the one good day. And I've said in the past that I have a hard time with movies where people are just making bad decisions and their lives go into the gutter. But I gotta say, he plays somebody who is making just terrible fucking decisions, and his life is already just, you can tell he is just absolutely fucked. Until he meets somebody who works for a casino, and works with gamblers to extend credit to them. Character is named Dao Ming, played by Fala Chen. And Fala Chen identifies Lord Doyle as a lost soul, and she decides that she's going to help him out. And so when she starts, so it takes a little while for her to, from the time she's introduced till the time, you know, she intervenes. And there's a lot of, oh, she should know better than this. She should know better than this. This isn't going to end well. This is not going to end well. And then we've, you know, and but then she does intervene, and because, you know, as after that happens, his luck starts to turn, and he, you know, he's approached by one of the casinos where he goes to, and where, well, his luck is turning, and he's told, I'm sorry, you can't gamble here anymore. And he's like, what's going on? And he's like, we've identified that there is a spirit behind you, and the spirit is helping you win. And it's just bonkers. It's like, what are you even talking about? And that's important. It's an important part of the movie. And I am just going to say that from that moment on, I went from really enjoying the movie to like where I was like, I literally at one point in my head said, okay, I can't wait to talk about this on Tuesday, because I'm going to say I really liked this movie, but I loved it the first time it was called Let It Ride. I fucking love this movie, and it had nothing to do with the fact that it was the first time I saw it was called Let It Ride. Ultimately, you know, the third act, I just bought. This is a tough one because you have to fucking buy into the third act. If you don't buy into the third act, and if you don't believe that, you know, small players can get a redemption arc as much as anybody else, and if you don't buy into the fact that even people who make bad decisions can eventually make good decisions, if none of that, if you're going to have a hard time, this isn't going to go well for you. And I can understand that. Like, honestly, I can understand being like, oh, fuck this. You know, he doesn't deserve any of this. But then the last 5 minutes are just like, oh, this is perfect. And this one is also getting 4 tacos from me. I loved the basically like last 20 minutes or so. And it's really unexpected, and it's different, and bravo, like literally bravo. It's one of those instances where the last 15 minutes really goes back and makes everything that happened like over the prior hour to it like 20 times better. Just like, oh my god, like every single moment that happened just, you know, during the prior hour is so much better. Ballad of a Small Player, good job. Thank you so much for coming and watching Really Real Talk. Again, I'm your host, Paul Britton. I hope you'll join me next week, you know, when I'm going to talk about more movies, because that's what we're here for, man.